Okay, so we're looking at Dogman. Big Jim begins, and before I forget this, notes and fun facts. The character of Big Jim was inspired by the following quote: "Truly I tell you, unless you change and become like little children, you will never enter the kingdom of heaven." Matthew 18:3, NIV. Based! Big Jim is based, dare I say, red pilled. Look at this. He's quoting Lao Tzu and Mr. Rogers and the 1873 poem Ode by Arthur O'Shaughnessy in his Dogman comics. So we're reading more Dogman. I'm digging these. I'm loving these. So my read on Dave Pilkey is now, I think he's entering into his old age, and now that he's entering into his old age, he's still making hilarious, goofy cartoon comic strips for kids, but he's trying to facilitate his wisdom on the world that he's gained through his many years of experience dealing with ADHD and dyslexia into surprisingly meaningful little books. So I'm loving these. Except one thing is I wish they had numbers on the side, because I'm not really sure what the order is supposed to be. I could kind of tell that there are events being referenced in previous books, but it didn't matter because he always does like a little introduction at the beginning to tell you who everybody is, and every adventure is roughly self-contained. So it just makes me go excited to go find out what the origin of Dogman having this superhero outfit is. So let's start flipping through it. So, Big Jim, aka Commander Cupcake, has been a supporting character in previous Dogman books, and let's talk about the last one I read was For Whom the Ball Rolls, where there's a kind of the deep theme of for Who the Ball Rolls is that Pete the cat and his son have sort of an attitudinal difference in how they look at the world. Pete is sort of pessimistic, Petey Jr. is optimistic, and they meet Grandpa, Pete the cat's dad, and Pete the cat's dad is emotionally abusive, essentially. So what was kind of sweet about For Whom the Ball Rolls is that Petey Jr. learns that his dad is basically right about Grandpa. Grandpa doesn't want to be redeemed. He doesn't want to be nice to people. But then Pete learns to look at the world through his son's eyes with a sense of hope anyway. So it's sort of like the son helps Pete the cat, who was formerly a villain in these books, become a good guy. Now we're following Grandpa, and I don't know why Grandpa's in jail, but Grandpa's in jail, and he's a complete cynic, and Big Jim is a childlike optimist with almost like a Adam West Batman sincere view of life. So the comedy, of course, comes from the fact that Grandpa's always screaming and frustrated by everything that's going on. They're in prison, and Grandpa's ticked about being in prison, but Big Jim feels free even though he's stuck in prison. The payoff for this later is it's really about their mindset. Grandpa lives in a prison of his own mind. Now, the other fun thing about these is even though they're completely goofy, fourth wall breaks and silly Billy humor, there will also be really intelligent comedy juxtaposed directly alongside of the Three Stooges level slapstick. So Big Jim tells a story, and gradually what we find out is that Big Jim is an unreliable narrator. He has this whole story about him being a cute little baby who was the chosen one, and he went to baby jail, and he got sentenced, condemned as guilty by a jury of his baby peers. And of course, Pete is cynical and doesn't believe any of this, and eventually figures out that what Jim's talking about is he was playing a game of pretend with his friends. But for Jim, the experience was real. It's sort of like the story doesn't have to be literally true for it to have a true meaning that for Jim. And the true meaning that Jim takes from his story about going to baby jail is when something bad happens to you, try to find a way to turn it into something good. This is a setup for later when Big Jim tells another story that is real within the reality of this world. I think that Grandpa says to Jim, "You've never suffered," and then Big Jim recalls losing his parents and becoming an orphan. So the imaginative story that Jim tells about his superhero origin connects directly into his real life experience of losing his parents and refusing to let that break him as a person. So I highlighted this because this is kind of these pages kind of symbolizes what Dogman is. So Commander Cupcake pulls out a little pink and sprinkle cupcake outfit and tells Grandpa he's going to have to wear it and be his what do you call it, sidekick, and I shall call these sprinkles. I will never wear that preposterous costume. Chapter 5, Commander Cupcake is... Look at his face. Okay, what's great about this is a perfect use of Smash panel transition. And it's the chapter, so he's even using, like, the chapter titles as a metatextual gag. This is the setup at the end of the last chapter. This is the punchline at the beginning of the next chapter. And then we go right into it. I can't believe he talked me into this. What happened, we'll never know, but somehow Grandpa got talked into becoming Sprinkles. So I want to talk about like, Adam West Batman and Spider-Man. So something I've been buying books at Walmart and Target because I'm trying to see what is the market like for comics. And Dogman is dominating. It's Dogman, Marvel, and a couple people kind of in the Dogman, I guess, genre of little kid graphic novel books. So what's ironic about this is Dave Pilkey clearly loves Adam West Batman. He clearly loves Spider-Man. This is full of little references to Marvel and DC characters. And yet the only way Marvel and DC characters ever show up in Walmart is in adult coloring books. Like, I don't understand. Is Disney run by incompetence? Like, oh, hey, my cat's here. She's gonna. She heard all about Commander Cupcake and she wants to join in the fun. Yeah, just come up here. Stop meowing and come up here and sit next to me. Why don't you? Anyway, so where I was going with that is Marvel and DC should be reprinting their old books and connecting to this. They should, like, if Dave Pilkey can make bank doing homages to Adam West Batman storylines, why aren't there good old, like, Golden Age, here she is, Adam West Batman storylines at Walmart? But anyway, we're going to flip ahead. So, of course, they break out and Grandpa is threatened with going back to jail if he doesn't go along with being the sidekick. So, of course, the whole goofy adventure starts to unfurl. I think I already talked about, I'll highlight this too, because Dogman gets an appearance. And this is a cute thing where Dogman, because he has the simple mind of a dog, his imaginative world is in crayon and even in, like, the yellow and blue colors that a dog sees. So Pilkey's always doing, like, surprisingly smart comedy disguised as a children's adventure story. I'll let you read the rest of it. There's an actual very redeeming, very wholesome idea of heroism behind Commander Cupcake. Okay, my favorite thing, by the way, is that Grandpa ends up, because he's sort of cynical and psychopathic, they find out that if you hug one of the robot aliens too tight, their heads pop off. So then he immediately goes, becomes a murder hobo and starts giving them hugs and killing them all. But it's okay, because they're robots. There's a giant plot hole at the end that, of course, Grandpa calls out, but that just means there's going to be a sequel, so we can address the giant plot hole and the narrative threads we did. Okay, so the point is that part of the comedy is coming from the fact that my cat in real life sort of derailed my train of thought, but Grandpa Cat is a cynic. He's always questioning the logic of the universe he's in. He's always calling attention to plot holes and stuff. Commander Cupcake believes in the world he lives in. He believes that all of this is really happening and that what he does actually matters. And then, ironically, by the end, we find out that Pete the Cynic, he's asking all these plot holes. Sometimes there are logical answers to his obnoxious questions about, well, that doesn't work. Why is it this way? Robots can't fall asleep. But then there actually will be logical answers to his problem. So the comedy, of course, is that the jerk keeps having all the slapstick happen to him because he brings it on himself, Wile E. Coyote style. So fun. Check it out. I'm digging Dogman. And here's Luna one more time for kicks and giggles. Love you guys. Catch you later.